Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is Jeremie Poplin with Thunder Breakdown.
That's right. It's time for another edition of a second quarter halftime hangout, coming to you live on the News 9 YouTube page and also streaming live on the X platform, News 9 as well, where we are currently joining game number 4, the NBA Finals. It is a 46-45 game with 5 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the first half, and what has been an absolutely torrid pace so far here in the first half of a game that has the feel like a Game 7 does of an NBA Finals. Raven, can you not tell that tonight's game means something? I had the stats earlier. I'm going to pull those up one more time if I can remember what in the world that I did with them. But my goodness, the stat basically is that if Indiana wins this tonight, it's like a 97% chance that they go on to win the entire series. If Oklahoma City ties this up and they go back to Oklahoma City tied up at 2, then that script completely flips, and typically whoever wins game 5 goes on to win the series the majority of the time. So this is kind of for the Thunder season right now, and it wasn't necessarily the best start in the world, but they have been able to hang in there. Points in the paint are working well for them again tonight. Still a few turnover issues, but so far so good. They were able to weather the early storm, and I never tend to overreact to first quarter NBA games in the first place. I mean, haven't we learned our lesson from what we've seen in the playoffs so far? And Oklahoma City did exactly that, and now they have a 3-point lead with the ball again here before halftime.
I didn't get to hear the official call on the review between the scuffle.
I know, I was yapping too much. I apologize.
Oh, no. I just had it turned down. I literally just had it turned down. That was why.
Well, I've got it in my ear, but it's hard for me to concentrate on what they're saying. Also listen in my left ear at the same time while I am 30 seconds behind the broadcast because Mike Breen and those guys in my ear, that's on my phone, but what I'm watching on the TV is actually like 30 to 45 seconds ahead of what I'm hearing. So I didn't hear the explanation either.
Thunder got the ball back, so a foul and might have been a technical. I need to look at the ESPN plays, but I like Dub in this game a lot. He played then almost the whole first quarter.
Yeah, you bring up the first quarter. I thought it was interesting from what we've seen so far, and that was the fact that there's another turnover from the Pacers that goes to the other end of the floor. I thought it was interesting by Daigneault. Daigneault basically starts the first part of the game. He goes back to the double big lineup and the starters. SGA rests halfway through the first quarter. Braven, that never happens. There was a stat I tweeted a little bit earlier that shows that. If I can find it here in a moment, I'll pull it up again. But to see the significant amount of minutes that SGA has played in the first quarter the entire season is so far the opposite direction of him setting. And that, to me, tells me that Mark is in this for the long haul, and he realizes that SGA got worn down at the end of Game 3 the way that everyone said. Now, he would admit it, and I don't expect him to admit it, but he was tired, and that physical presence that Indiana had on him the entire night, making things difficult, I think it took its toll, and Mark rested him in the first. And you know what? In the non-SGA minutes, it didn't hurt him at all. They were able to hang in there, and I think it ended up being a brilliant move by Daigneault.
I agree. And they took the lead, I believe, and it was a timeout, Indiana, and then they come back out and Shea's on the bench, but I mean they stayed right with them the whole time. I think, isn't this the Thunder's biggest lead in the game right now?
It is.
Stayed up the 6-point lead.
Up to a 6-point lead. Yeah. If you're watching on the chat, feel free to watch with us. Our first question comes from JR. Is a hot dog considered a sandwich? Game predictions for tonight as of halftime. Yeah, of course it's a sandwich. I mean, it's got a piece of bread that's wrapped around a piece of meat. So yes, a hot dog, of course, technically is a sandwich.
Technically, I definitely just will not call it a sandwich, though.
No, it just seems a little odd to do that for sure. But again,
I
streaming
think
live
I
on
call
the
more of a burger a sandwich.
streaming live on the News 9 YouTube page and also on News 9 X feed as well. We have other guests. At least I think they got the invite. I sent out email invitations. We hope to be joined by several more members of the crew coming up here in just a few moments. But Oklahoma City has extended the lead a little bit here, giving them a real opportunity to kind of calm the nerves of so many that were upset with the way that the game started here in the early stages. And I'm
One
not
for
the
nine from three. How many of those threes have just rimmed out
yeah,
for
and
the
that's the
Thunder?
thing. Look how they're playing right now and how they're shooting the three ball.
Yeah.
And it's all been because of what they've created in turnovers, what they've been able to get out of transition off of those turnovers and points in the paint. It's eerily similar to what we talked about, the big storyline in game 2, which allowed them to have the giant victory that they had. There's a three ball finally from Indiana to kind of stop this little run that Oklahoma City is on, and now an offensive foul. Oh my goodness, that place is absolutely on fire right now. As Joe joins us here on the stream, I said this in a tweet a little bit earlier. My main problem with the NBA is lack of consistency in officiating. It's
I was
been
about to ask, do you have a foul count?
it's been a problem for years. I don't have a foul count. I just know this. We talked about the atmosphere. It's a game 7 atmosphere, and we've got the whistle. Like, this is a game in the middle of January. Like, what are we doing? Let them play. Let them play. And the lack of consistency from game to game in an NBA Finals is just enraging. And I'm not viewing this through either team's lens. It's infuriating to be a fan of either team at this point with the way that the whistle was blown tonight. And I shouldn't be surprised by it. It's Scott Foster, for crying out loud. He has the nickname the Extender for a reason, because he's known to extend series. So he was called in. He knows exactly what he's doing here this evening. Joe, what have you seen so far, man? I think you're here. Let me try to fix your mic for you. I think I can. I don't know if I can unmute you, or you might have to unmute yourself. Yeah, Joe will get it figured out. Nope, still not able to hear you, buddy. Might have to flip out your mic settings for sure. There we go. I think we got you now.
I hear you loud and clear. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
Cool. Hey, Raven, what's up? Hey, Jeremy.
What's up?
No, it's funny that Scott Foster still gets these finals games. He's he's the most controversial referee in the NBA. You can go down the road with the Chris Paul story, but yeah, it's weird that he still gets these marquee games. What I see from the Thunder, man, this game is great. I'm surprised we're up. My speed, I think, is a little off from yours. We're up 5 now, 54, 43, 45. Now 50, 51, 48. Pop, I think this is like the game of their lives. I think our team is so young that this is what they've been working for, and if they're going to become champions, they got to get through with it.
A couple of things here. The uncharacteristic turnover issues, again, kind of creeping in for the Thunder. This is not how they've played through the course of the regular season. It looks better now than what it did just a few moments ago. But at one point, it was a 4-to-5 first point assist to turnover ratio, and the Pacers had returned all of those turnovers that the Thunder gave them, had turned them into 11 points at one point in time. That's just not sustainable at all. They have seemed to take a little bit better care of the basketball here as of late, but still, with that said, that is a little bit worrisome as you move through the course of the night if you have those stretches like that, like we saw early on, where you're turning the ball over again and Indiana is able to get out in transition. These two teams are so similar in terms of like pace. and so they can get running. Yeah, I mean, you got to take better care of the ball.
They're so identical. I mean, I was thinking today, like, okay, Chet and Nimbrand played together in college. Nimbrand, Lute, and Shea played together on the Canadian national team. Like, these guys know each other very, very well. And it's amazing that they could still perform against each other, knowing, you know, what each guy is.
I wonder what the substitution pattern is going to look like here once we move deeper into the game. Is there going to be another moment where, because it did not cost them hardly anything at all to set SGA early when we talked about that earlier, are they going to give SGA another moment of rest? Because, you know, typically in those non-moments is when Indiana has really thrived in that. But if I'm Mark, I'm thinking about giving him another moment of rest in the third quarter, even out of halftime, to where he can play the entire fourth quarter and try to play it that way tonight to see if you can keep your best player on the floor during the fourth quarter to try to create some stuff. Because they also did a very, very good job of kind of taking some of the pressure off of SGA by letting Jalen Williams bring up the ball a little bit more. And that was a big thing in game 3 that they really struggled with. You know, their points per possession went way down, and Williams just wasn't ready for it. Tonight, you can see that was by design. All right, let's get the ball out of SGA's hand. Let's let J-Dub bring the ball up. And I even said today earlier, like, I felt like that this had to be a big J-Dub game for tonight.
Yeah. I will say also, like, Caruso has played a lot of minutes so far in this game. I hope that he doesn't get gassed, because that's somebody that the Thunder need to, they definitely depend on him in the late in the fourth quarter defensively. So, yeah, give Shea the time to rest, but also think about Caruso, because those are the two guys that keep the team kind of afloat.
Mm-hmm. One guy I wanted to talk about was Miles Turner. I covered him for his 1 year at Texas. I wasn't sure how good of a pro he could be. He's been on the trading block his whole career.
Yes.
And he is so central to what the Indiana Pacers are about. You know, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with how his career has matured, and honestly, a guy that could have been shipped to LA, shipped to Dallas, shipped to anywhere. I mean, he's causing problems for us, more so than I thought he would.
It's another Thunder turnover. I think if you bring up a decent point on Turner, he's already been in the league 10 years, all up in Indiana, which is crazy to think about because, as you mentioned, Joe, I feel like he's been almost traded to the Mavs like 4 different times, at least from what I can remember. Always mentioned as part of trade bait as well. And yeah, what he's been able to help out defensively has been incredibly beneficial to Indiana, as Oklahoma City now 3-point lead, 55-52 with 140
Dub's
left.
having one of those games.
Yeah, Raven, you played. Like, what I like about Dub is this. Watch Dub with the little crossover, but he uses his left hand so well. When he's able to get that left hand involved, and you didn't see it there, that's not the one that he finished with, but, man, he uses those wide shoulders. He gives great shoulder fakes. He's just so smooth when he has the ball in his hands, especially when he's running the show like he is.
Silky.
As long as he just gets out of control sometimes, like half the time. The other times, they're great. They're great moves.
Raven, what position did you play in? Did you play high school or college?
High school. I just played high school. I was a guard. I was just a guard.
Same here. Just a guard in high school, point guard.
I could could have won Division III, but I liked this career more, so I stuck with this.
Boy, that's a big hack there on the arm from Caruso, and then over the top, Dort gets him on the head. And they're checking on that right now.
Both of them have a couple fouls, I believe.
You know, Caruso got lucky on that one that he tipped away. that they threw back to him for the finish, because I mean he had his arm around the waist early on, so they got away with one there. So now they're just checking here with contact to the head, as Dort had the follow through over the top.
Man, turnover by Dort. I think my feed is way behind you guys. I'm on DirecTV.
I'm on Dish.
You're on Dish.
I'm on Dish.
Yeah, Richard Jefferson is talking right now, and he's kind of breaking down this play right here. And he had a comment. He was like, "Listen, if you're going to get a flagrant foul, then you need to get your money's worth." And I agree with him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, in the finals, of course. Yeah, every foul, everything counts, every point.
Yeah, Steve Javy right now is trying to break it down, because if they have the foul on Caruso.
So Raven, let's talk about J-Dub. I mean, you said like I just saw a replay of what he did, a layup earlier. He's got like there is such a flow. It's like he does everything a little bit, and when he's in check, we are so much better.
Yes. Third quarter. We always talk about third quarter dub, but he's already got 16 in the first half. And there's still 2 minutes to play in the second. Well, minute 44 to play in the second. I believe he's the leading scorer for us, possibly.
That's a good sign.
I believe Shea has 10 or 12.
Well,
I don't know. I haven't looked at any of it, but
Shea's gonna get his 30 regardless. We win or lose, he's gonna get his 30. So that's awesome that the second player is leading the scoring.
What was this? What was the call, Pop?
So they ended up getting the flagrant on Dort with the contact to the head area.
Do you guys see the guys on courtside with Stephen A. and
yeah?
And
so
Perk?
they've got the Dumb and Dumber costumes on, which is absolutely perfect for especially how I feel about Perk and Stephen A. Yeah, they've got the Dumb and Dumber suits on.
We're gonna win, and they've got on Thunder colors.
And they've got a giant Perk head hanging around one neck and a Stephen A. head hanging around the other.
Is Jim Carrey in the building?
I haven't seen Jim Carrey yet, and there's another Oklahoma City turnover.
Oh my! Well, Dort
must be right on.
Dort did slam him really good.
Yeah, he did. He got him.
Pascal Siakam has had a pretty good defensive game. I think he's got 4 or 5 steals.
So the one thing that Indiana hasn't been able to do yet, and I want to see how this moves throughout the night, but in Game 3, Siakam is so good when Oklahoma City like switches on him. He takes advantage of those smaller players so much, and he cooked those smaller guys in the second half of the game the other night. He hasn't had the opportunity to do it that much yet, but yeah, defensively it's been pretty good.
No, I think we spoke about this.
Wallace
like Raven, we don't really have a power forward. I mean, we have 2 centers, we got tons of wings and guards. We don't really have a power forward. So Siakam, yeah, he could eat us up.
There's Tyrese Halliburton's girlfriend.
Tyrese is starting to take over a little bit here towards the end of the first half.
Nah, man, let's put Wiggins on him or somebody who's fresh.
I mean, just put Cason Wallace back out there, and that's what I was going to get to. Is Cason Wallace has disappointed me a lot in this series in the starting lineup. You know, he's a great threat in so many ways. He's so fast. He is so mature already in the game, but he's got like 2 points a game right now in this series. He's got to start scoring more. He's missing every shot he makes. Besides the last one.
And I think, Raven, that was part of the plan tonight, which is why they went back to the original starting lineup with the bigs, which was, hey, can we get Cason Wallace going a little bit more back in his comfort level, in his comfort zone where he comes off the bench, and it just hasn't worked so far.
Indiana with the lead again at halftime.
Cason has never been an offensive guy. He's always been just a utility kind of dude. At least for the Thunder, I think I read about him when he was in high school, and he was the leading scorer on all his teams. But he also came off the bench, so he's used to being a role player. I don't look at Cason as being like an offensive, like a scorer for us. I think he does all the little things, just like Wiggins, just like Dort.
All right, well, it is a lead here for the Pacers at halftime. Halliburton starts to take control of this situation just a little bit more. We've got a few more people that are joining us here, so it is a perfect time for us to transition into...
Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is Halftime Hangout with Jeremie Poplin.
That's right, it's a cast and crew tonight as we are hanging out, just wrapping up the first half of game number 4 of the NBA Finals at the Indiana Pacers. Oh my goodness, we've got legit stars in the house now. Looks like we've got Carl, we've got Chris Williams who is joining us alongside as well. Look at Aaron Alexander jumping in on the chat this evening. Aaron, you jumped in a few moments ago. Funny text message from you. You didn't want to join us earlier because you don't have the best language during the game. So what is it? Are you just like dropping bombs left and right while the game's going on? How does that work?
It just, it
Raven,
comes and goes. It flows in and out during the game. It's just you can't really control it. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Okay, you're like me watching Niners games because every now and then, you'll have something that flies out, and I forget I've got a kid in the house, so you got to be careful. All right, and joining us from Oklahoma City, looky here.
Thank you.
The epitome of television stars.
Can you guys hear us at all?
It's Carl and Chris joining us here, fellas. What's going on, man?
Out here. We're having problems in Oklahoma City.
I don't know if they can hear us a little bit. They're awfully echoey. I'd love to hear what some of Chris Williams' thoughts are here on the first half.
Okay.
See, we can hear them, but I don't think they can hear us.
You can hear Pop, though.
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay, I'm going to mute you guys
We're
just for a second.
ruining the stream.
I'm going to mute them. You guys,
Yeah.
when you hear me, you give me a thumbs up, and then we'll go from there. Joe, your thoughts on the first half?
I mean, this is a must-win game. It's close. None of these games, really, the score doesn't matter until the fourth quarter because anything can happen in the last 10 minutes, especially with these Indiana Pacers. No, I think this is what this team has played all year for this half. And these are learning lessons. If you want to be a champion, you got to go through these kind of things, and hopefully tonight is one of those steps.
Raven?
Well, we talked about it the whole first half. This is a must-win game for them this season on the line because you definitely can't go 3-1 to Game 5 in OKC, go down 3-1 to OKC, and we also, Joe said it, Shai's going to get his 30 no matter what, and I like how Dub is playing this first half so far.
I feel like I'm going to have to give smoke signals to Chris, but Chris, check your cell phone. Check your cell phone, Chris, so you can try to – I sent him a text message where they can't hear me. We can hear them is the problem, so we're trying to get this worked out. All right, let's go to some of the chat because we've got some questions in the chat. Look at this little new tool that I've got. I can actually throw the questions up in the chat. Such a physical first half, 2 flagrant fouls, and a double technical. Dang, these guys aren't friends tonight. No, they're not, and that's the one thing that I do really appreciate about this. No matter what the connection that they've had in the past at all, this is the NBA Finals. I don't want this any other way. You should live of the mentality, I will run over my own mother. I hope she's not watching tonight. Mom, don't take that seriously. But I would run over my own mother if it was an opportunity to lift the Larry O'Brien trophy, and that seems to be kind of what they're doing tonight.
Yeah, I thought so. In the fourth quarter of Game 3, I thought that Neesmith had a foul on. It was Alex Caruso, too, which is ironic. That I felt like rose to the level of a flagrant one, and they didn't call it. I know it's the extender. We got Scott Foster tonight, so anything can happen with Scott. But I think if you don't call that a flagrant, I think both the two that happened tonight probably. I think the Neesmith one was worse than either two that were called tonight. But it is definitely a more physical game, in Game 4. But I think the big problem for the Thunder have had a couple of poor time turnovers tonight in the first half.
All right, and we may have to have someone else introduce the Oklahoma City crew. Oh, I'm getting a thumbs up now. Fellas, Carl, Chris, the real television stars are in the house. What's going on in Oklahoma City tonight, fellas?
Just
fighting a computer.
fighting a computer. Yeah.
Technology, it's awesome.
I about the game, I feel halfway decent about the game. I like that they came back after an early deficit, being down 9 early. They fought back. I don't know what's going on with the defense, but they seem to be just giving up a lot of open shots, which you haven't seen that all year. So I'm just surprised that in this game that we're seeing that, and the turnovers are bad too. But it's like I'm sure it is for you guys too. When you're watching, you see this turnover happening the moment like Chet puts it on the floor and he's gonna go run 15 feet dribbling basketball. Or even like J-Dub trying to go around the back. It's just like we're forcing things right now. I think we settled. We that second quarter we settled back in. And I feel good about it. I was hoping to be up, but
I heard you guys talking earlier about how it's such similar styles between the two. They play with similar pace, but I feel like the Thunder play with that pace but under control, whereas the Pacers live in the chaotic side of that pace. And the Thunder the last few games have fallen to the chaos side in the spirit of playing fast. And that's when you see J-Dub trying to go behind the back, fast break through traffic, and run it. And it's like, okay, you don't have to go full bore every single time. The Pacers are picking them up so early. They started doing that in maybe the whole series where the pick and rolls, they're trying to hedge all the way up near half court and make you get in there instead of waiting in the paint. And OKC just has not figured that out yet.
Yeah, I think that average, Chris, jumped up in game number 3. Indiana started picking them up at like 68 feet. And before that, in the first 2 games, it was only in the 50s. So you could tell like that was a pretty key move from Carlisle. I was like, all right, we got to start putting these guys under pressure a little bit. What stinks from a Thunder's perspective is they've taken care of the basketball the entire year. And now you're going to pick this moment here in the finals. It does remind you that this is still a young team that has to go through the learning process in moments like this to know when it's okay. Put your foot on the gas, take your foot off the gas a little bit. It's all part of the process because – Let's just be honest. This team is built for the next 5, 6, 7 years in total. This is not just a hey, win the championship now type mentality from them. They're going to continue to learn as they move forward into the playoffs and through the finals.
Yeah, but I want to win this year.
Always say we don't.
There's so much talk of the dynasty. It's making me a little sick to my stomach. And we all know what happened in 2012. Like everyone thought, they're going to be back. They weren't back. They never were back.
Yeah.
The team was dismantled years later.
I think it's part of why the Pacers have been so understated, though, is everyone's like, oh, they just happened to play sloppy when they played against the Pacers. It's like, no, clearly Indiana is doing things to make these other teams be uncharacteristic. It's not a coincidence that for the 4th straight round, a team has looked out of character when they're playing the Pacers.
I think their defense is underrated. I mean, everyone was saying the Thunder had the edge on defense, and Indiana's offense was like unstoppable. But really, it's Indiana's defense that's winning this series so far for the Pacers.
Let's jump to the chat real quick. Caroline's got a question. Said, how about they are just totally shutting down Shea? I think they're limiting Shea for sure. Now, I don't know if anyone really technically shuts down Shea completely. They did a great job of it in Game 3, and look, he's still finished with almost 30 points on the night. But yeah, they're doing a better job, and you could tell that Mark was being a little patient with him early on, try to get him some rest in the first quarter. We'll see how that moves going forward, but they are doing as good of a job as anyone has done on SGA so far this year. One other question that we have coming up here. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, Ben says this is turning into a star-studded halftime show. It's because of our presence in Oklahoma City tonight for sure, which gets me into my next question. I wanted to ask you guys, how, in your opinion, has the city been? Is there just a constant buzz of energy across the entire city with this team making it back to the finals for the first time since 2012? I remember just being there that last time, and as someone that's lived in Tulsa, you could almost feel the energy all the way down the turnpike. But what's it like being there day in, day out with this team in the finals?
I think the entire town is cautiously optimistic
Yeah.
and started the playoffs like that. And now, because obviously we remember what happened last year. And so I think this year everyone was excited. Obviously, this is an incredible team, a 68-win team. But as each round has gone, the fever here in Oklahoma City has just built and built and built. And then when they won the Western Conference, it was just crazy town. And then all the talk of like, we're going to be the favorites in the NBA Finals. And so and I'm saying that if you have any sort of baked good, bakery, restaurant, whatever, you have Thunder themed
Rumble's face
menu
on
items
cupcakes.
everywhere. Yes, you have to be doing that. So, but we're down here, the front of our building here at Griffin Media. It is painted. It says "Go Thunder." It's everywhere. It's all these buildings downtown. They have stuff painted the windows, but it is so much fun to be here. Even the crowds, when they're fighting some of the elements with the rain down there, thunder up in the park, it is still crazy. It's awesome to see.
And I'll say this, Pop, so because I haven't been here as long as Carl has. Last year when they got to the playoffs, you felt everything lift, and it was so cool. That's been the baseline this year. It's like as low as it gets is that level it was last year. You go through neighborhoods and the Lions statues have Thunder jerseys on them. Every house has a flag up front. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Let's head back to the stream. A few other questions. Oh, looky here. I think we all know this gentleman. Says, I come home from a business trip tonight. My wife says, I really like Steve and that other guy. And I said, you mean Pop? Hello. And she said, yes. How come he's not on News 9 more? Well, Wade, I mean, you can fix that, buddy. I mean, you're the one that can take care of that right now for sure. And he followed that back up and said, the city's electric and totally in support, but now a little anxious. I think everyone's a little anxious right now, especially with the way that first quarter started. But you got to feel pretty good considering everything that they went through, that it's only a 3-point game right now. Indiana's going to give them a heck of a shot here in the second. Ty checks in on the stream as well and says too many Thunder turnovers, but they're still in the game 100%. We've talked about the turnovers quite a bit this evening as well. All right, so as we are getting closer to the end of halftime, let's kind of go around the room here. Joe, I want to start with you. I want to get some of what you think that you need to see out of Oklahoma City coming up in the third quarter to help them not only stay in this game, but to stay away from those 9-0 Indiana runs that can really put this one in a tough spot.
Pop, I think Pacers are good, but we're good too. We're gonna need someone else to raise their game. This is the quarter. This is the quarter of their lives. I mean, Game 4 on the road, need a win. Somebody's got to bring it, and we have the characters to do so.
Raven?
I mean, like we talked about, they decided to go with the original lineup, but then throughout the game, there hasn't been the double bigs back out there. So do they start keeping them out a little bit longer to see if anything else can happen with that, or try to get Miles and Pascal a little bit out of their comfort zones defending? And then, I think Shea's going to turn it up, and Dub just going to keep doing third quarter Dub things.
Yeah, I want to see Dub with the ball in his hands, bringing it up a little bit more. Blake brings up a good point and says, need to hit some threes. That's the other thing, guys. I mean, they're down 3 tonight, and they have shot so poorly from downtown tonight. You know, if they're able to get a little bit hot, that's where this game could really flip. Aaron, what do you want to see in the
you took
second
the
half?
words right out of my mouth. The Thunder are 1 for 10 from 3-point range in the first half. That's the stat that jumps out to me. The Pacers are 7 for 19. Not great, but like well better. The other thing, the Pacers have 15 assists. The Thunder have 6 assists. The Pacers are moving the ball around. They're getting on their break. They're outrunning a lot of the Thunder. The Thunder only have that's a huge gap in assist numbers. I think that the Thunder need to move the ball a little bit better. Figure out, we were talking about earlier in the Pacers press. I think in the end of game 3 and a little bit there in the second quarter, they kind of figured out if the Thunder have someone on the baseline, once you have that initial pick and roll with the Pacers high press, if that baseline person cuts to the basket, they have a dunk or a layup almost every time. So figuring out that more, moving the ball around, you can't have the shooting and assist numbers got to improve. The turnovers is almost even.
Man, Aaron with the Quinn Snyder-esque breakdown tonight here at the halftime show. By the way, 1 for 10. I wasn't a math major. As a matter of fact, when I enrolled in college, you're like, guess what? You got to take elementary algebra all over again because your testing scores are terrible. So that didn't work out too well for me. But I believe that's 11%, guys. So not good at all tonight for the Thunder. Carl, third quarter, what do you think we're going to see out of this Oklahoma City bunch?
I just don't want to see them pressing to shoot threes. I think the threes will come. They got to knock them down. I think Cason Wallace is going to wake up, and I think he's going to knock them down. I also think the roster is going to get a little smaller. I don't think we're going to see Isaiah Joe. There's no bigger fan than Aaron Wiggins, and so I want him to be out there. He has the capability of knocking down some threes too. I don't know how much we're going to see him in the second half. I think we're going to see SGA long minutes from him in the second half. I think this is going to go down as the J-Dub game. He's already got 16 points at the half, and I think this is going to be the game that we say, okay, J-Dub has arrived at the NBA Finals. I still feel good. I hope that I feel like they're trying to win a game in the paint, okay, which isn't so bad, but this is the modern-day NBA. You need to make some threes. I think they will come. The percentages aren't going to stay at 11% for the entire game, and they're going to start taking them. But I don't think we're going to see we might see Kendrick, but some of these guys I'm really surprised to see get big minutes, Isaiah Joe being one of them. I think it tightens up in the second half, and I think their core starters, along with obviously Caruso, they're going to get long minutes, and they're going to knock down some shots.
Hey, Chris, before we get to your point, I want to follow up on what Carl said, because in game 3, you had Wiggins, Williams, J. Will, Isaiah Joe, and A.J. Mitchell combined to play a total of 16 minutes in game 3. So that's 93% of your minutes went to the 5 starters on top of Caruso and Hartenstein at that time. Shortening the bench was interesting, but I think Carl might be onto something tonight with the closer that this gets, because we haven't seen much out of the bench so far tonight for Oklahoma City.
Yeah, outside of Caruso, obviously he's just a spark plug when he's out. I think he already has, 4 steals? And
yes.
I think that this gives me an appreciation for what Cason Wallace has done all year long, because him being off has really affected the whole team. And so you look at it and go, okay, this guy was doing more than I thought. Can Cason look comfortable again and find his groove and forget about the dumb turnovers from last week and the missed shots and just be the Cason Wallace that was the understated role all season long? And if he can do that, but I mean, the Thunder weathered the storm of Indiana shooting the lights out early in the game, only down 3, should still feel good about it.
No doubt. Well, the third quarter has officially started. I want to thank every one of you guys for jumping on the stream here. We'll settle in and watch the third quarter. I'll be back for the post-game show as soon as the game is over. We'll take you live to the podium. So we'll hear from Mark Dagnall. We'll hear from a couple of the players as well, and we'll break down a few elements of this game. I want to thank you guys in Oklahoma City. Carl, Chris, awesome for checking in. Aaron, you the man. Joe, love you, brother. And Raven, thank you as well for joining me from Mom's house tonight. I know that you had to make a little travel across the state of Oklahoma to make sure that you were joining us here this evening. And thank you to everyone for tuning in to our halftime show here on the News 9 YouTube page and also on X. We'll see you again in the postgame. And don't forget to check out all the amazing content, not only that happens on television, but also on the web, news9.com and newson6.com. Enjoy the rest of the game, and Thunder up, everyone.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma Zone digital studio stream. Stay with News 9, online and on television, anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.